February 18, 1942. 6:10 hours. Kassel, Germany. The factory whistle screams through the winter fog. Steel doors slide open with a groan, metal on metal, echoing down an empty street still dusted with snow. Inside, the air is sharp with oil and cold iron. Overhead lights flicker to life, revealing long wooden workbenches scarred by decades of civilian labor. Chairs, cabinets, wardrobes, not tanks. Boots strike the concrete floor, measured, deliberate. A Wehrmacht major steps inside, breath fogging in the dim light. His greatcoat brushes past a stack of unfinished dining tables. He does not look at them. He looks past them, at the machines. Behind him follow men in civilian coats, factory managers clutching clipboards. Faces tight, silent. They already know why he's here. They've heard the rumors, the whispered words in break rooms, the sudden disappearances of neighboring plants, the rail schedules changing at night. The major stops beside a lathe. He checks his watch. War waits for no one. Outside, trains roll east. Inside, Germany's civilian world is about to vanish. Only weeks earlier, this factory built furniture for homes that would soon be rubble. Now, orders stamped Reichsministerium für Bewaffnung, UND munitions sit on the manager's desk. The paper smells of ink and authority. The instructions are simple. Convert. Produce. Do not ask. No speeches. No flags. No grand announcements. Just numbers. Blueprints arrive rolled tight, heavy with grease. They are unrolled across the same tables once used for oak paneling designs. The lines are unfamiliar. Armor plating angles, torsion bars, track links, measurements in millimeters. Tolerances unforgiving. A Panzer doesn't forgive mistakes. The workers gather around in silence. Men who have never seen a tank up close. Carpenters, machinists, toolmakers. Their hands are skilled, steady, but this is different. This is not something meant to sit quietly in a living room. This is meant to burn. By midday, the transformation begins. Wood dust is swept away, replaced by metal shavings that curl like silver snakes at workers' feet. Saws meant for a hardwood scream as they bite into steel. Sparks fly, bouncing off walls that still bear faded safety posters from the 1930s. A foreman shouts over the noise. Faster. Again. New supervisors appear. Men with party pins on the lapels. Clipboards always full. Eyes always watching. Production quotas are posted on walls. Miss them and questions will follow. Uncomfortable questions. Outside, trucks arrive under canvas covers. The drivers do not linger. Crates are unloaded and rush inside. When the covers slip, you catch glimpses. Gear housings, engine blocks, rough cast armor plates still warm from foundries miles away. No one speaks about what they're building, but everyone knows. The first tank hull section is welded together 3 days later. It sits awkwardly in the center of the workshop, dark and angular, completely out of place among the brick walls and old windows. Men stand around it, silent, almost reverent. One worker reaches out, touches a cold steel, then pulls his hand back quickly, as if it might bite. This thing will not stay here. This thing will go east, to Russia, where the war has changed. Word spreads quickly, though no one officially says a thing. Other factories in Kassel are changing too. A bicycle plant now machines gun mounts. A rail workshop fabricates suspension components. An automobile factory down the road stops producing civilian cars entirely. Its assembly lines now dedicated to armored chassis. Germany is no longer fighting a short war. This is total war. Every hammer strike matters. Every delay costs lives, someone else's lives. The supervisors insist. The workers are told they are patriots. Essential. Protected. But ration cards shrink. Shifts grow longer. And the factory gates begin to close at night. By March, production runs around the clock. Night shifts blur into day shifts. Men sleep on benches during breaks, wrapped in coats that smell of oil and sweat. Air raid sirens wail in the distance, sometimes close enough to rattle the windows. When bombs fall elsewhere, no one cheers. They just keep working. The tanks must roll. Inside the factory, the sound never stops. Rivet guns hammer, like machine fire. Welders' torches flare white-hot, briefly illuminating faces lined with exhaustion and fear. Mistakes are no longer tolerated. A misaligned plate is scrapped. A worker who argues is reassigned. A worker who disappears is not discussed. By late spring, rail cars wait outside every week. Finished hull sections are loaded at night, covered, secured. Guards stand watch, rifles slung casually but eyes alert. The factory no longer feels civilian. It feels occupied by the war. As the train pulls away, sparks flying from steel wheels, a young machinist watches from a high window. He wipes his hands on a rag, staring until cars vanish into the darkness. He has never fired a gun, yet something he built will soon crush a village road, or burn, or kill. He does not know which. The factory keeps changing. More machines, more guards, more secrecy. And soon, a new order arrives, one that will push this place beyond furniture, beyond tanks, and into something far more dangerous. Something that cannot be hidden behind closed doors forever. The war is coming home. September 9th, 1943. 2:47 hours. Kassel, Germany. The night sky flashes white, not lightning. Searchlights snap upward, stabbing through low cloud. Somewhere to the west, engines rumble, deep, synchronized, unstoppable. Inside the factory, the vibration reaches the floor before the sound reaches the ears. Someone shouts. Another man drops his wrench. Then the sirens begin. The workers don't run immediately. They hesitate, just a second too long, trained by months of punishment to finish the task before responding. A foreman screams orders that are instantly swallowed by the rising howl. Power cuts flicker. Machines wind down with protesting shrieks. Then the first bombs fall. The walls tremble. Dust rains from ceiling beams. A pressure wave slams through the windows, blowing glass inward in 1,000 glittering knives. Men dive for cover beneath work tables and half-finished hulls. The war has finally found them. By dawn, Kassel is burning. Entire streets are flattened. Rail yards smolder. The air tastes of ash and cordite. The factory still stands, damaged but standing. Several bays are collapsed. A lathe lies on its side like a fallen animal. 3 workers are missing. No one says their names. By noon, an inspection team arrives. They do not ask about the dead. They ask about output. The message is clear. Production will not stop. Within 48 hours, temporary walls are erected. Damaged machines are dragged aside and replaced. New workers arrive. Some transferred from bomb factories, others wearing striped uniforms under civilian coats. Foreign laborers, prisoners, men who do not complain. Men who do not slow down. The factory no longer pretends to be civilian at all. The tanks change too. Early Panzer components give way to heavier designs. Thicker armor, wider tracks, more complex suspensions. The Eastern Front has devoured everything lighter. Reports come back. Scribbled notes pass quietly between supervisors. Soviet anti-tank guns. Mud swallowing vehicles whole. Crews burned alive. So the machines grow bigger, deadlier, harder to build. Blueprints multiply. Each new revision adds hours of labor, kilograms of steel, and another opportunity for failure. Welding seams must be perfect. Armor plates must meet exact angles. An error of a few millimeters can mean death for a crew Germany has never met. Supervisors pace constantly now, stopwatches in hand. Production boards updated every hour. Red numbers mean failure. Failure means investigation. Investigation means consequences. The workers feel it in their bodies. Hands crack and bleed from handling untreated steel in winter. Eyes burn from welding arcs and sleepless nights. Rations no longer match the calories burned, and men grow thinner, sharper-edged. Arguments break out, then stop. Everyone learns quickly who is listening. Outside the factory, the city changes. Windows are boarded. Streets empty earlier each night. Anti-aircraft guns appear on rooftops. Boys barely old enough to shave man them, eyes fixed skyward. Fingers numb around cold metal. Inside, production accelerates. The factory now feeds directly into armored divisions reforming after catastrophic losses. Each hull is logged, stamped, assigned destination. Kursk Kharkov, the Dnieper line. Names whisper like curses. One night shift, a shipment is delayed. A single critical component, final drive housings, fails inspection. Cracks in the casting, metal fatigue. The foreman knows what it means. He orders rework. The supervisor says no. The parts ship anyway. Someone signs a form. Someone else looks away. The train leaves before dawn. Weeks later, a letter arrives, never officially acknowledged. A Panzer unit reports multiple breakdowns under combat conditions. Vehicles immobilized. Crews forced to abandon them under fire. No blame is assigned. Production quotas increase. The factory becomes a place without seasons. No sunlight reaches most of the floor now. Windows are painted over to reduce visibility from the air. Time is measured in shifts, not days. Men age faster here. Some stop talking entirely. Others talk too much until they don't return. By early 1944, Allied bombing intensifies. Not random anymore. Precise. Relentless. One afternoon raid punches straight through the roof, detonating inside the welding bay. Flames race along oil-soaked floors. Men scramble, choking, blinded. A half-finished hull absorbs shrapnel meant for human bodies. When the fire is out, the hull still stands. Blackened, scarred, usable. It is sent anyway. The irony is not lost on those who remain. This machine, built to survive the battlefield, survives the factory as well. The workers do not. Then one morning, a new order is posted. Short, unambiguous. Disperse production immediately. Secondary sites, underground workshops, smaller plants, barns, tunnels anywhere bombs cannot reach easily. The factory will no longer be the heart of production. It will become something else. A node, a shadow, and in the chaos of relocation, something far more dangerous than enemy bombers begins to spread to the workforce. A realization that the war is not being won, and that everything they have built may soon be turned against them. March 30th, 1945, 5:22 hours. Kassel, Germany. Dawn breaks without ceremony. No sirens, no engines overhead. Just a low, distant rumble rolling across the hills. Artillery this time, not aircraft. The sound is closer than it has ever been. Too close. Inside what remains of the factory, the night shift lingers. There is no whistle anymore. No clear handover between shifts. The clocks still hang on the walls, but no one looks at them. The war has caught up. The factory is barely recognizable. Entire sections have been dismantled and moved south months ago. What remains is a skeleton. Bare walls, scattered machines, a few final assembly stations kept running out of desperation. Power is intermittent. When the lights flicker on, they reveal faces hollowed by hunger and exhaustion. Outside, the rail line is silent. No trains are coming. Orders arrive late, carried by motorcycle couriers who look more frightened than authoritative. The instructions contradict each other. Finish hulls, destroy records, evacuate skilled workers, hold position. No one knows which order matters. The supervisors argue openly now. Rank has lost its magic. A half-completed tank, hull sits in the center bay. It has been there for weeks. No engine, no transmission, no tracks. Just steel. Men work on it anyway. Welding seams that lead nowhere, driven by habit more than belief. One worker laughs suddenly, short, sharp, hysterical. No one joins him. They all hear the guns now. American reconnaissance aircraft pass overhead in daylight. Unchallenged, the workers pause, watching through cracked skylights as silver shapes glide past without fear. No flak rises to meet them. The sky belongs to someone else. For the first time, the factory feels small. On the night of March 31st, the guards leave. No announcement, no orders. They simply walk out, rifles slung over shoulders, boots echoing once down the corridor, then gone. The gates remain open, swaying slightly in the wind. The prisoners do not sleep. Neither do the Germans. Everyone waits for something. It comes at noon, not as an explosion, but as silence. The artillery stops. Then distant engines, lighter, faster, unfamiliar. Jeeps, trucks. The sound grows, then pauses, then grows again. Somewhere in the city, a single shot cracks, followed by nothing. White cloth appears in windows. Hands tremble as they raise it. When the first American soldiers enter the factory, they do so cautiously. Rifles up, eyes scanning. They expect resistance. Sabotage, traps. They find none. Just men standing still among machines that no longer matter. An officer steps forward, boots crunching over metal shavings. He runs a hand along the tank hull, feeling the cold steel, the rough welds, the scars from bombs meant to stop it. So this is where they came from, he says quietly. The workers are lined up, names taken, questions asked. Some answer, some cannot. No one cheers. No one cries. The war has emptied them of that. In the weeks that follow, the factory is stripped. Documents are seized. Machines cataloged. Engineers interrogated. Photographs taken. Evidence of how deeply the war reached into civilian life. Allied intelligence notes the efficiency, the improvisation, the scale. One report states simply, civilian industry fully mobilized for armor production. No mention of the cost. The tank hull remains where it is. Too heavy to move easily. Too symbolic to destroy immediately. American soldiers pose beside it for photographs, grinning, relieved, alive. The machine built to kill them never fired a shot. Not this one. Years later, the building will be repurposed again. Windows repaired. New machines installed. Civilian work returns. But the walls remember. The floor still bears burn marks where bombs fell through the roof. Deep scratches remain where hulls were dragged toward waiting rail cars. If you listen carefully, some say you can still hear the echo of rivet guns late at night. History doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet. This factory never designed a tank, never tested one, never sent men into battle. Yet thousands of armored vehicles passed through its hands, shaping battles fought hundreds of miles away. Proof that modern war is not only decided at the front, it is built far from it.